Hi, my name is Noemi Perez, and this is my neurological assessment video. My patient today is my daughter. If this was a real life setting, I would already have collected subjective data, have her in a gown, explained the procedure, answered any questions she had. So for this assessment, I would have already asked her questions pertaining to place, time, person, and situation. So like I would ask her what her name was, her date of birth, where she was, if she knew why she was there, and who the President of the United States was. Okay, so now I'm going to begin by assessing the cranial nerve. So cranial nerve 1 is the olfactory nerve. So I will have her close her eyes. I will have her clear her nose really good and close her eyes at the same time and hold one nostril closed. And I will hold a scent up to her nose and see if she knows what it is. Okay, so go ahead and clear your nose, close your eyes, and close one nostril. And can you tell me what this is?
Watermelon.
Okay, now do the other one. Can you tell me what this is?
Great.
Okay, great. So she correctly identified what I was having her smell, so now I will do the optic nerve. So if I had a Snell chart, which I don't, and an optoscope, which I also don't have, I would have her read the chart, and I would take the optoscope and I will check the optic disc and the retinas. So after I do that, I would have her read a small paragraph on a paper or newspaper or book and address her near vision. So I'm just going to have her read off of this wrapper. Can you tell me what this says?
Skills, original, this unit, not labeled for retail sales.
Okay, good. So her visual fields were assessed. So now I will do cranial nerves 3, 4, and 5, which are the ocular motor, the truncular, and the abductans. So I will get my pen light and I will do the 6-point test and have her follow my pen light from the tip of the pen to my ear, and I will have her look into her eyes with the pen light to see if they constrict. So let me get my pen light. Okay, so I have my pen light and I'm going to head and do the 6-point test. Okay, so I want you to look at my pen and just with your eyes follow, okay? Okay, now look at the tip of my pen, and now look at my ear. Look at the tip of my pen, and look at my ear. Okay, now I'm going to just shine can you remove your glasses? And I'm going to shine my pen light into her eye. Okay, good. So her eye movements were coordinating smooth and bilaterally, and I didn't see any extra movements or anything like that. So next I will do cranial nerve 6, which is the trigeminal. I'm going to have her clench her teeth, and then I'm going to palpate the temporal and the master muscles. Okay, so can you clench her teeth? Clench her teeth. So she's clenching her teeth. And I'm going to feel her muscles. Clench your teeth. Okay, good. Both contracted bilaterally. So now I'm going to test the sensory function. So I will have her close her eyes and use the paper clip to touch different parts of her face. And I'm going to have her tell me if the touch is dull, sharp. So let me get my paper clip. Paper clip. So I'm just going to touch different places on her face so she can tell me if it's sharp or dull. Close your eyes.
Dull. Sharp.
Okay, so she correctly stated the correct sensory stimuli. So next I'm going to check the corneal reflexes. So I'm going to take this little piece of paper I have, well, this hair tie that I have, and I'm going to lightly touch the edge of her eyes. Okay, so take your glasses off. Keep your eyes closed. Okay, so she has a reflex to the touch. So now I'm going to test the cranial nerve number 7, which is the facial nerve. So I will have her smile and then frown, puff her cheeks up, and then wrinkle her forehead, raise her eyebrows, and close her eyes. So go ahead and smile. Okay. Puff your cheeks up. Okay. Wrinkle your forehead. Okay. Close your eyes. Okay. Okay, great. So next I will test the acoustic. So I will perform the Weber, the Rhines, and the whisper test. So I would have a tuning fork, but I don't for the Weber test. And with the tuning fork, I would strike the tuning fork and then place it at the top of her head and have her tell me if she feels a vibration. Then for the Rhines test, I would strike the tuning fork and have her tell me which is louder, side A or side B, and I would do this on both sides. Then after that I will do the whisper test. So I will whisper a number into her ear and she will tell me what number it is. So we're going to do that now.
5. 10.
Okay, great. So she stated correctly what I whispered. So now I will test the cranial nerve number 9, which is the glossopharyngeal, and number 10, which is the vagus. I will use a tongue depressor if I had one to check her palate and her uvula. I would have her say ah. So just open your mouth. We're going to act like I have one. Say ah. Okay, so I would use my pen light to look inside at the same time. Say so I will be checking for rise and fall of the uvula. So that was good. There was rise and fall. The palate looks good. So next I would test the gag reflexes by sticking the tongue depressor into her mouth further down her throat to see if she would gag. I don't have a tongue depressor, so I'm not going to stick nothing down her throat, but that's how I would test that. After that, I will have her drink some water to assess her swallowing reflexes. So let me get a glass of water real quick. Okay, here we go. Can you just swallow some of the water? You okay? Okay, good. So next I will test cranial nerve 11, which is the spinal accessory. So I will have her shrug her shoulders while I put resistance against them. And I'm gonna do shrug your shoulders. Okay, now push against the mic. Okay, good. So both sides are symmetrical and they're strong against resistance symmetrically. Last, I will test her hypoglossal nerve, which I will use a tongue blade and have her stick out her tongue and put resistance against it. But since I don't have a tongue blade, I cannot show you that. So after that, I would move on to the motor and cerebral systems. In a real life setting, I would have assessed her gait by watching how she walked, by observing her balance, if she was swaying back and forth, if she was using her arms while she was walking, if she was shuffling. So now I'm going to have her get up. Get up. And I'm just gonna have her walk away and now walk back toward me. Okay, good. So next, I didn't notice any like shuffling or anything like that. So next I will have her do the heel to toe walking. So please get back up. And you're just gonna do heel, toe, and walk. Heel, toe, heel, toe. Okay, good. So her gait and balance is normal, no swing, no spasms. Didn't see any tics or nothing like that. So now I would have, when she was doing that, I would have also been assessing her muscles and her legs for symmetrical, for tone, strength, atrophy, any weakness, and she didn't have any loss of balance also. So next I will assess her coordination. I will have her touch her nose with one hand and then point out the other way and do it back and forth. Okay, so go ahead and touch your nose and then push one out and do it 3 times back and forth. Okay, good. So now I will have her do a fast movement with her hands just by going like this. Touching each of her fingers to her thumb, and I will have her do it on each finger. Okay, good. So next I will have her pat her legs with her hands back and forth like that, fast. Okay, good. Okay, so she did that with no struggles and no hesitation. So next I will move on to the sensory assessing for touch, pain, and temperature by touching her extremities in different places with an object that is sharp, dull, and soft, and also assessing temperature if it's hot or cold. So I'm going to have her close her eyes, and she is going to tell me if it's hot, cold, soft, dull, sharp. Okay, so I have my sharp, my dull, my cold, oops, my warm. Cold, soft, sharp. Okay, so
Cold. Sharp. Dull.
okay, good. So she identified them without any hesitation. So now I'm going to test for vibration sensation. So I would use a tuning fork to vibrate different places like the radius, her forefinger, her big toe, inside of her ankles, and then she would tell me if she felt any vibrations. But I do not have a tuning fork, so I can't show you that. So next, after that, I would test the sensitivity to position by moving her fingers and her telling me which way I'm moving them. So, close your eyes.
Upward. Downward. To the right. To the left.
Okay, good. Next, I will test for stereogenesis, which is I will be placing an object in her hand, and I will have her close her eyes, and she's going to tell me what it is. So I have a battery. Okay, so close your eyes. Open your hand. Tell me what it is.
Battery.
Okay. The other one? The other one?
A club.
Okay, good. So now I will test point localization by having her close her eyes, and I'll touch a body part of hers and have her tell me what I'm touching.
Arm.
Okay, good. So now I'm going to be testing the graphagia by having her close her eyes and tracing a number in each of her hand with my marker, and she's going to tell me what it is. 6, 3, 6. Okay, good. So next we will do extension by having her close her eyes, and I will touch both sides of her body parts, and she's going to tell me what I'm touching. My hands, legs, legs, calves, feet. Okay, good. So next I'm going to test the deep tendon reflexes on the bicep, tricep, brachial area, the patellar, and the Achilles. I do not have a reflex hammer, so I can't demonstrate this, but if I did, I would just be lightly tapping on the knee area to test for reflexes, and up here on the elbow area to test for reflexes. So after that, I will test the Achilles, which is with the reflex hammer, and then I would rate all the reflexes at a 1, 2, or 3 plus. So now I will check the ankle clonus by rapidly flexing the foot into dorsiflexion or upward towards the head, checking for contraction. Give me your foot. No, you can bend your knee up towards your head. Okay. Okay, good. So next I will be checking the plantar reflections by rubbing the bottom of her foot from the heel all the way up to see if there's a reflex. Can you lift up your foot so you can see what I'm doing? So from the heel all the way up. Okay, good. The heel all the way up. Okay, good. So next I am going to check for abdominal reflexes by slightly stroking her abdomen to see if there's any reflex. Just lift up your shirt a little bit, just a tiny bit. Okay, so there's definitely a reflex there. Okay, so this concludes my video. Thank you for watching. Bye.